crisp air, untouched powder, and a 500-pound snowmobile going full throttle. This is what bliss looks like for a wintertime adrenaline junkie. Every snowbank brings the promise of fun. And who knows what thrills can be found just over the next hill. Too bad this is just a prologue to the real pain. Outside of Alaska, where was the coldest temperature ever recorded to date in the United States? High up in the mountains in Rogers Pass, Montana, a bone-chilling 70 degrees Fahrenheit below zero was recorded on January 20th, 1954. If you include Alaska, the coldest temperature ever recorded was negative 80 degrees at Prospect Creek in 1971. Welcome to snowmobile heaven. Last night, a blizzard dropped a few feet of snow on your wilderness playground, giving you and your buddies miles and miles of fresh powder to ride on. But when you ride off alone on a solo adventure, little do you realize that epic moment of triumph is about to become an extended journey of pain. Pass out from the brutal crash, and when you awaken, you discover you're fighting a critical battle against frostbite. What would you do to treat this cold, harsh condition? Should you A. Rub the afflicted areas such as hands and feet to increase circulation? B. Soak your frozen extremities in hot water? Or C. Gently wrap your frostbitten limbs and keep them dry? What you do next could save your life and limbs. But what exactly is frostbite anyway?
Frostbite is actually a condition where the skin tissue actually begins to freeze. We think about our fingers and toes getting coldest first, and eventually you'll see discoloration of the skin in advanced cases.
Under cold temperatures, the body is going to try to maintain its core body temperature so it does not get hypothermia. And one of the ways it does that is by constricting the small blood vessels in the tissue far away from the core, such as the hands and feet. Eventually, the tissue temperature is going to drop to freezing, and ice crystals are going to develop. So frostbite is tissue injury when you actually have temperatures that develop ice within the human body.
Frostbite can occur when the temperature of the skin drops below freezing, 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
Where you develop frostbite is going to depend on the temperature as well as the wind speed. Are your extremities covered or not? Are you active currently? And so all those factors come into play when you try to figure out how long it will be or if frostbite is likely to develop.
At 20 degrees with winds a mere 15 miles an hour, frostbite can take hold in less than 30 minutes. With lower temperatures or a higher wind chill, that time can drop to just a few minutes.
The physical signs that you have will let you know that you're having frostbite is usually intense pain around the sites. It's often the extremities that tend to freeze first.
Be warned, this will get ugly.
First degree frostbite, you do have the numbness. You'll have an area that's white typically, and the surrounding tissue is going to be swollen. Within the second degree, you'll see blistering. And so that blistering will have typically clear or a milky fluid in it.
Yeah, the skin's eventually going to die in this one.
Third degree frostbite, you still have blistering, but they're purple or red because the damage to the tissue has gone down deeper. And then fourth degree, you may see auto amputation where parts of skin die, they become necrotic and fall off of themselves, or mummification.
And there you are. You survived the horrific treetop collision, but you've been out cold in the freezing cold long enough to suffer frostbite. So what would you do to survive it? Your best chance of saving your extremities is C. Make sure you loosely wrap up the frostbitten areas and keep them dry as possible.
You want to be dry, and you want it to be wrapped gently, right? Because we don't want to rub or abrade the tissue. It's sensitive because of the ice crystals. And so loosely fitting, dry wrap helps mitigate the heat loss and prevent tissue damage when it's most vulnerable.
After gently wrapping up the damaged skin, you should get to a hospital.
This is a very dangerous injury that can have very life-changing consequences. It often requires a multidisciplinary team of focused experts. And so for those reasons, it's not advisable to try to treat it on your own.
As for soaking your frozen limbs in hot water, you may thaw the skin before your blood circulation returns. Do that and the skin dies. That's why it's best to leave the rewarming to medical professionals.
Ideally, you want to place the limb in a whirlpool water at about 99 to 102 degrees. And this seems to be the narrow but ideal window for rewarming.
Generally speaking, rewarming should be a passive activity. If it took you an hour to get cold, it should take you an hour to warm back up.
Unfortunately, the rewarming process can be painful.
The rewarming portion goes from an area of no sensation to sharp, severe, and throbbing pain.
If soaking in hot water is a bad idea, rubbing a frostbitten area is even worse.
So because frostbite involves those tiny ice crystals, those ice crystals are very damaging to cell walls. And so by rubbing, you're really abrading the ice crystals against tissue. And you can further cause damage when you're only attempting to help your injury.
In extreme circumstances, frostbitten extremities such as feet, toes, hands, and even legs must be amputated. Always be aware of the risks in freezing weather. Keep covered at all times. Insulated clothing such as gloves and a mask can save your skin. But if you do get frostbite, wrap the frostbitten areas with clean, dry, loose bandages or a towel. Then seek medical attention immediately. Don't rub the affected areas or attempt to warm up in hot water. Frigid weather is fraught with danger, so stay warm or end up frozen. Behaviors can make you more susceptible to frostbite. Nicotine can actually decrease blood flow to the skin, which makes it harder for your body to stay warm. Alcohol and caffeine have the same effect, so if you're going out in the cold, stay away from cocktails, cigarettes, and coffee, and stick with hot chocolate.